is I'm going to read an article that is it's not on my Substack. It's been sent to Reason magazine. But anyway, so here it is. The unfortunate elements. Louis R. Hessiantel. When social justice gets it all wrong. Henry Novak, George Floyd, Tony Timper, Michael Brown. Perhaps that reads like a perverse set of 4 oddly numbered black and white cards to you, but to me, they all read as avoidable, man-made tragedies in different ways. The order doesn't really matter, lest we neglect the better angels of our nature and toss the entire humanist project straight down the fucking toilet. Vikram Digwa, Derek Chauvin, Dustin Dullard, Darren Wilson. A little more esoteric, perhaps. Were these all men of power, or simply lost souls in the wrong place at the wrong time? Is this chaos theory at work, or simply the way the shuffled deck of this mad universe has thrust us all into a giant, godless, humble tumble dryer to let us broken toys all work this shit out in real time? Why are there more question marks in my second paragraph than the first? Sorry for that one. But it wasn't simply for effect. All of these events could have been a case of too much racial profiling in the institutions, implicit bias innate in our genetics, bad training, unfortunate timing, or, and possibly more likely a disastrous blend of all. My biases, for what they're worth, tends towards the first and the third. Some may argue for the latter, the blend, but I don't think they would be right. Race is a social construct. Even if it isn't, it's far more convenient to act like it is. So let's grow up and have a serious conversation about how these perfectly valid candidates of our valuable species expired in dark snuff films before a middlingly educated crowd of trigger-figured onlookers prepared to grab at the wildest theories available before calmly assessing the situation. Imagine how colorblind, monocultured aliens would react to this. And now we're finally getting somewhere. Or perhaps imagine an ape with a post-racial, enlightened brain shoved into their partially evolved body, looking at us from a low-down pedestal. Happy? I think not, somehow. The state should have a monopoly on violence. That's not up for debate, except for self-defense and maybe a touch of well-meaning vigilantism at the will of an empathetic jury occasionally. However, the police didn't mean to kill Novak. A Sikh man did. The reputation of the Sikh community in England is stellar. The Khalsa are a proud part of our tumultuous path towards civilization, and it seems a dodgy remnant of that barbarity still lived on in one family. It's not just one family, let's not pretend, but we know about this one now. One quick fix: blunt these ceremonial weapons if they are going to be displayed in public. Now they're just harmless knives. Done. So what happened with the policemen? Are they all self-hating whites or hate whitey mulattoes? Now we're talking. We're on to race again. Brainwashed by DEI training. Ping! There you go. What a waste of time. That emergency call was sickening. What did he say? The P word. That's all I need. The small print on Novak's death warrant was signed at that moment. For shame. Whatever happened to this great country? Why is one life worth more than another based on a melanin force field or an attachment to an outdated culture who likes to walk around with weapons on their person in the dark? The fact is, it doesn't. Parts of the right have swung right to the other end of the seesaw and claiming white people are on the edge of genocide from the other direction. Bullshit. We have time to solve this, and by we, I don't mean white people. Reform and Restore need to stop this stuff fast. Kemi's rocking right now, and she's the best hope Britain has for a post-racial resurgence at the moment. Two-tier Keir. God bless him for his minor efforts to stop Islamic fascists terrorising thousands of little British girls, but they're not enough. Bland and beige pronouncements are welcome, but this point is a little more pointy than even our dear leader has the guts to admit at this moment. So the nickname is moot. The issue is endemic. Identity politics has always had a place, only that place is in history for the most part. Sure, it's mostly just annoying and harmless, a way for the marginalised to make fun of the majority, only to find this pretty inconvenient when the world hits back, to quote Pete Doherty, a lot fucking harder now. The idea of the white majority in Britain is at least a moribund one. I'm not white, I'm pink. Bjork is white. She's Norwegian. Sorry. But you get my point. Many people of colour, or coloured people, for those who need reminding how funny these semantic arguments can be, are actually Caucasian. Also, why was it assumed that Novak who would choose to call Vikram a Paki, either by the attacker's family or the court handler? Sikhs come from all over, and this certain aberration is just as much a Brit as he is a... I won't say it again. Don't worry. Too late, huh? Too bad. There is also a strange line between these damn application forms we job hunters have to fill out, giving away every ounce of our personal information, irrelevant or otherwise, what Camille Foster of Freethink Media would call the shape and shade of our genitalia, and the waste of time that the force must spend on diversity training instead of solid police work. Previously it was all under the covers a little bit, but now it's out there and people are mad as hell. It's a shame that the great city of Southampton, the home of the Saints, now sadly tarnished by Spygate, has now been ignited into a hotbed of feverishly pitched riots. With Stephen Lennon thrown into the mix, it's just a whole bundle of accidents waiting to happen. The former leader of the EDL has many fans among the hooligan types. As reform washes away Labour's red walls like a tsunami of working class rebellion, the outside world, liberal elites included, can only wait to see what's next. In the meantime, the Novak family grief is prolonged unnecessarily, while the culture wars rage on. This writer has no solutions, merely observations and recommendations. Did we need a George Floyd moment? Yeah, why not? What harm could a few riots do? Let's all celebrate man's inhumanity to man and then hoist all the property damage over to the taxpayer. Even if most of the bills land at the feet of the insurance companies, that's still not fair. These moments should be even less common than abortions, which I remind you, as Bill Clinton once said, should be safe, legal, and rare. If we are going to adopt humanism as a philosophy, all lives matter? Give me a break. Uday Hussein's didn't. Let's not be so childish. Please, don't willfully pretend to know not what I'm talking about. If you've got this far, you must know I'm onto something. Perhaps that something is incomplete, misguided, uninformed, ignorant, non-existent, or just plain bull, but it's mine. I've been stewing in this marinade for years now, and it finally felt like the right moment to emerge from the pot and lay all these complex flavours out onto the page like a badly plated soup spillage. That wasn't a case of mixed metaphors, I assure you. It was simply a long one with too many syllables, but I like to show off sometimes. Remember the names I listed at the top? They're pretty hard to forget, I know, but I want you to try after this is all blown over. Why is this? Because they have less in common with each other than they have similarities. Floyd was high and committing a minor crime. Brown may have had his hands up, but a second ago those hands were holding stolen cigarillos and reaching for Wilson's gun. Timper was a mentally ill gentleman who called the cops on himself post-cocaine and then felt the wrath of authoritarian overreach. And to leave the latest till last, Henry Novak was an 18-year-old kid who did absolutely nothing wrong at all. It was bad timing, combined with an evil 23-year-old extremist. So this piece is dedicated to every person who has ever been ignored and subsequently allowed to die because of the failings of a badly managed DAI training in any of our emergency service sectors. Obviously, the blame lies at the hands of the owners of those hands, but reform needs to take place right now. Rip out the red tape, remove the racial language, and banish any form of culture respect that permits swords in public at night, unless there's a well-regulated performance of Zorro going on. That may get us some way to weeding out what this writer has chosen to call the unfortunate elements. Rest in peace, Mr. Novak. You tried your damnedest to stay alive. Breathing and with us. But we all failed you. Sorry. And I'll just add there, I don't mean reform needs to happen and reform needs to win. Reform will win. And that's what you get. Cheers.